Can we let her in? Hello, Hector. I love it. We've got a guy. Hi,
Tamar. Hey, Tamar.
Tamar.
You're beautiful. Good. So Tamar, we are just talking about pivoting, and at what point in your life do you get to when you know it's time to pivot? But before we get into that, let's talk about what you're doing first. Like, you've got the new podcast. What's happening with you? And then jump into the pivot piece.
Well, actually a lot going on. But what I am most focused on right now is my podcast. And has felt the need to be transparent, my struggle, and not be ashamed of them. So someone else looks up to me and knows and follows, won't feel ashamed by their struggle and would want to go and help. So I'm feeling basically, he's not under construction. Every under eyes that we just work on.
It's a little hard to hear you, Tamar.
It's really hard.
Yeah, it's hard to hear you.
Oh no!
See, we can hear that, and then and
I think she has her phone. I think she must have her phone straight down, so it's covering up the microphone.
Yeah, you want me to turn it that way.
Yeah. No, back. Yeah.
This way.
Yes. That way.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Hold on. Let me get my stand together. Wait. Okay. How's that?
That's better. That's better. Yes.
Yay.
Okay. Now we see that beautiful thing.
Yes. Hey, girl. Hey.
Okay, so what? Y'all didn't hear anything? You want me to start that thing over again?
Yeah.
Let us might need to.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm working on a lot of things, but what I am most focused on right now is my podcast, and it's called Under Construction. And I decided to do a podcast called Under Construction because that's just like right where I am in my life. I wanted to create a forum and be an example for people to continue to work on themselves and heal out loud and not be ashamed of their struggles and basically embrace them while we work on them. See, my mic is always in rear view because I'm always in here working on it. So that's what I'm really, really focused on. That has become my ministry, my baby, and I'm so proud of it because it's been an amazing opportunity to create this safe place for people not to feel shamed, but to want to continue to work on the work. So,
yeah. Dr. D, do you have an answer? Because not an answer, but a question for her.
No, I love that. It sounds like she's living out loud. You know, she has removed herself from all of the restraints that everybody else has. Has that been a struggle for you to just cut away from other people's perspectives of what they perceive of you? Has that been hard for you?
It's been an absolute struggle. I think the worst part of being successful was not being able to really truly enjoy the fruits of my labor because I'm always worried about the perception of other people because of the part that I played in living out my dreams, right? And that was being on reality television and the negativity that follows behind that. And it can never be an amazing story of a Black woman. It always has to be an angry Black woman or a problematic Black woman or somebody who's always combative and not uplifting. And that has been like the complete person that I am not. Like, that's like I've always been the person that you see now. I just wasn't able to show that side of me because it was so conflicting, and I would have to take accountability, for playing that part for so long and not being able to break away, because number one, you have to understand I'm not in the cast of strangers. I'm in the cast of my family. So that means that if I break away from the show and break away from those obligations, in a sense, is my family dynamic. Do you understand
Right.
what I'm saying? So
Right.
the decision was great, and I knew that, but the decision had to be made because it the price was just way too heavy. I couldn't afford it anymore.
Mm.
Love
Yeah.
it.
I can say, even sitting here watching you talk, I mean, you can definitely see that there's like a whole nother level of like groundedness and maturity. And so I want to really congratulate you on doing that, because it's not always necessarily easy to do that, because you were such a huge personality on the show with your family. I want to ask you this: how much do you feel like the pressure was coming from fans, or do you feel like a lot of it was coming from the production team?
Okay, so I think 99% of it came from, where the production was and where the network is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You kind of have to be very, very careful about the people that you get in business with. And, you have to really find out their true intentions. And Holly will tell you, I will ask somebody, okay, where are you going? What's your plans? Or, you know what I mean? Because I know that I can't end up in another situation where the intent is negative and the intent is not aligned with mine, which is helping people and moving forward and elevating. And if it's not there, then I can't be involved in it at all.
No.
Yeah, one of the scariest things is actually being in front of someone's camera and not being able to be a part of the edit, not being able to be a part of the way. Even if you said one sentence in a nice way, they take that one sentence and add it to another conversation.
Yeah.
Those things really happen, and I feel you on that, because going to sleep every night, once you're behind that camera, you have no control over what's happening.
Yeah.
And you have to trust your partners.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Well, you know what, Tamar? I think you are on the cusp of the greatest season of your life.
Yes.
Listen, when you can birth something called under construction, that right there is exposing every little dark secret that they could ever try to come after you with. And you are laying it out on the table, and you are giving the world an opportunity to say, you know, this is our flaws and we're making them flossom. So I think that you are going to love this new season that you're in, because you're going to help a lot of people because of your transparency.
Yeah, tell your own story. I'd rather tell my own story than somebody else tell it. You know?
Absolutely.
I watched that episode on Taraji's show, and I thought that was so amazing. I think that's amazing what Taraji's doing with the mental health in our community.
Yeah.
And I think that was the first time that we heard where you had actually, when you started considering being in that dark space in your life. And so did it help to actually sit in that safe space and discuss that? And does it feel like the burden is gone now, and that the pivot keeps happening because you're kind of taking down the layers now?
Absolutely. Before that interview, I had been in intensive therapy for about 4.5 months. And I've been going, I say intensive because it's been an everyday process for me. Yeah, because it's been a lot of things to unfold and to discuss. And so when you haven't discussed, all of your past issues and your past hurts, all of that stuff compiles up into this big old ball.
Right.
You have to talk it through, you know what I mean? And work it through. So I'd already started doing the work when I sat down with Taraji. And I have to agree with you. It is such an amazing ministry that she's doing, and in speaking about, mental health and where you are and checking in with yourself and making sure that, you have the responsibility to check in with you, because only you know, what you're going through.
Right.
And so, no, I'm not, praise God, in that dark space any longer, because I do hold myself responsible every single day to check in with me to make sure that I am okay. And if I'm not, I do have, different tools. I do have people to call. I do, I know this might sound crazy, right? But I do know how to use my faith, because at first I didn't know how to use my faith. You know what I mean? And now I know how to use my faith. I know how to call on God and what to specifically ask for. And whatever situation that I'm in, I can, easily get myself out of it, only because I have worked on the tools to get there. So,
So good.
So I have a question for you. It's kind of twofold.
yeah.
At what point in your life, career, in the moment that you were at that place, did you say, okay, I got to pivot, because if I don't pivot, this not going to work. This not going to last. What was that moment, that deciding moment for you?
I think I said it before. It just became too expensive. It caused me to. I felt like I was selling my soul. You know what I mean? I felt like I wasn't my own anymore. I felt in every aspect of a slave. Like I was just, moving. I'm a robot. Like I didn't feel like a human, and it just got too heavy. And I can't afford that. I have a child, you know what I mean? I feel like God saved me because it's something for me to do, and I couldn't keep bringing myself to that toxic, negative space, because the only thing that I was birthing was negativity, because I kept rolling in it. You know what I mean? There was no escape. There was no air. So I was suffocating. So it was really at that moment when, I kept expressing to the production and to the network that this is not working for me anymore. We're in two different spaces, and it was like, okay, whatever, we're going to send you a breach letter.
Right.
So it didn't matter to them. What mattered to them was me showing up to produce whatever they needed to be done. Yeah. And I'm telling you that I feel, I'm in this dark place. Like I came out and told them this. This is how I'm feeling. Doing this is making me feel this way. And it was like, oh, okay, well, here's a breach letter. Good night. Come to work anyway.
Yeah. Here's the issue. Get it together.
Yeah. So you said something earlier in a comment that you made, that you're just learning how to use. Yes, and Betty Mason just said it. She said you learn how to use your faith. That's a good message. So many of us don't know how to use our faith. Now, a lot of people will say, well, ain't you a pastor's kid, or didn't you come from the church, or how do you balance those expectations upon you coming from a family of faith, just saying you're now learning how to use your faith? How do you respond to that?
It's not even really a balance for me, Miss Holly, because this is an experience that I had to go through myself. You know what I mean? And while I was going through it myself, like I had to learn different things for myself, and I had to exempt shame from it. Like if I was going to elevate and if I was going to move forward, shame had no space. You know what I mean? What people have to say, people comment, people snarkles, people talking about you behind your back. I don't care. You know what I mean? This is my path, and I have to do this. You know what I mean? And it's bigger than me. I know that it's bigger than me, because, the desire for it is, imminent. Like there's just absolutely nothing I can do about it, So
I love it.
Baby. Pastor Kim?
Sorry, charge my phone. Sorry, y'all, I'm heavy. Okay, we good. All right.
It's so funny going back to what Dr. Holly said when she said that you're a preacher's kid. I think that is the funniest thing, because us preacher's kids it's the hardest for us, because we are put in this box. And finally, I think that's what happens, Tamar, to all of us, is we go to hell and come out on fire. You're finally like, enough is enough. I'm taking care of my life and my business. And it's amazing how when you finally watch everything fall to hell in a handbasket, things you thought you couldn't live without, now you're living without it. It's amazing how you start building yourself back up. And so I'm proud of you for that pivot. I'm proud of where you're headed in this journey. And so shoot, the people that are supposed to be with you will stay with you, and the ones that ain't, oh well. See you later.
But I do have a question. I want to know, how is the restoration process for family? Is that a part of your pivoting, to restore different relationships?
Yeah, to restore most relationships. But, for me, it's the relationship that I have with myself that is most important right now. And so I believe that those relationships will be restored when it's time. but I have to be in a certain place for that to happen, to, you know, to have to have them to receive it and for me to receive it as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, listen, like, this is not an overnight situation, because what happened to me didn't happen overnight. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's a process, and it's a decision that I made to, you know, to definitely pivot in all areas of my life, not just career-wise, but my family, my friends, my finances, everything had to change in order for me to make the correct pivot to victory. There's just no way for me to change a few things and keep a certain amount of things the same. No, I had to pivot everything. So it's going to take time.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm not to say like it was something that just was going to happen. I just wanted to know, like, this path that you're on and this pivoting, you know, what is all involved in it. I love when things are made whole. You know, that's how faith should make us. Everything be made whole and complete in Him. And you're doing a wonderful job at it.
Yeah.
Hey, Tamar, like, what if you are, if there's somebody watching today that's going through what you're going through, a change in their life, they're starting over, starting new. There's a lot of people talking about them. A lot of people got their ideas about what they should do. What would you tell them as they start this journey? Where should their headspace be? And how should they stay focused? What would you tell them was your key that made you walk this thing out so beautifully?
Well, I just have to say, my focus is my decision, and you have to stand firm in your decision. And once you have made the decision to pivot and change your course, things will start falling into to place, because you don't, you don't tear it to one side, tear it to the other side. No, you stay focused on your goal. And, I believe that all of the energy, all of the things that I needed came after the initial decision. You know what I mean? The help that I've had to come along the way came after the decision I made to make a change and make the pivot. You know what I mean? So you have to stay the course. You have to stay the course, and you have to have faith that you made the right decision. When you make the right decision to move and change, you know what I mean? You have to stick by it. So, and everything will fall into place.
That's right. That's right.
I really love how you said a couple times, Tamar, I have to take responsibility. I have to take responsibility. And I'm sure now that your podcast, now that you've opened it up, I'm sure you're probably hearing people from all over, whether they're known or not known, that have probably had, some things in their lives that just were totally out of balance. What would you say? What are you telling people that, because you said your faith, you have to learn how to use your faith, which I really, really, really love that. What would you tell that person that is in that dark place and they're like, listen, everything you're saying is really helping me, because, a lot of people love you and admire these steps, and it's really helping them to, get the courage that they need to say, you know what, I need to heal. What would you say was that main thing, or that main scripture, that main prayer where faith is concerned?
Okay, I couldn't really hear that good.
Let me
She said a whole lot.
Yeah, her reception is but a bird.
What was the question? One more.
What scripture, what position did you use that really helped you through this process?
Oh, listen, you can do all things through Christ that strengthens you. Period. And that's just nothing else to say after that.
I love period. I love
it. You can do it. You can make it. It's nothing that's too great.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Tamar, I have a question. When you're making these changes, kind of this evolution of yourself, this growth, did you change your friends, like your circle? Has that changed?
Absolutely. Yeah. There is no circle. There is no circle, really. You know what I mean? I have a tribe. I call them a tribe. And it's 3 of my really, really good friends. 2 of them I've known since I was 16 years old. And I call them my tribe, and we call each other our tribe. So we have a group text. So we text each other, and when we have questions, when we're going through things. And that's just about it. I have my work circle, which is that small. Miss Holly will tell you, that small, and and it's just me and my son. So yeah, you have to kind of X people out, because a lot of people don't understand that you are on this path, and what you don't want to do is surround people who are going to make you question yourself and your decisions and stop you off of your course. So, you know, you have to eliminate a lot of people. I'm not saying forever. And I know there's a lot of people that were in my life that I still would like to have in my life, you know, but not right now. Right now, I have to get myself together and, you know, keep my circles very, very small to keep my focus on point.
I love that.
So good.
I do.
It's not personal. Not personal.
No, not at all.
It's not personal. It's not personal ever.
Not at all.
But what is personal is our growth, honey.
Yeah.
That's personal.
While we're going to the next question for the studio audience who has maybe a question or two for Tamar, put it in the chat so she can talk to you. And if there's anything that you want to ask either of us, please put it in the chat. We want to engage you. We've got another 3 minutes for this, and then we're not going to go home, but we're going to get out of here. That's how that goes.
Ain't you at home, Dr. Holly? Ain't you at home?
Yeah, I am at home. That's why.
Miss Cheetah with her cheetah on.
Don't talk about my cheetah. So listen, I have another question. My question would be, as you are making this pivot, what are the aspirations that you have? What do you see? Where do you see yourself in the next year?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. In terms of what, though? Like personally?
I think personally, spiritually, and your career. And then we're going to go to Leah's question, because Leah says, what was the turning point for you? I think you've answered that already.
Yeah, I did.
You know, she did answer that, Leah. But yes, so tell us where you are in a year.
In a year, wow.
Podcast blown up, looking more fabulous.
At peace. At peace.
Back in church singing again.
Yes.
Yes, Miss Dee. I
so
love
glad
that.
I
Back in
answered,
church.
because that's really hard for me to say out loud. You know what I mean? I haven't gotten there yet, you know, because I haven't, you know, worked out the difference between bragging, or I don't know what's the right word that I'm trying to find, or my goals. Does that make sense?
Visionary, vision, yes.
I get it. But you know what? The Bible says you got to call those things that be not as though they were. So sometimes you got to speak it in the atmosphere, because just
That's right.
The enemy hears you, you know, oh, I'm not going to make, oh, this is harder. You know what I'm saying? God hears you when you not throw his word back, but when you give him his word back. So sometimes you do got to speak that, baby. And it's not bragging. It's just knowing believing what God is going to do, because he's already spoken it over you. So
yeah, claiming is not bragging. Claiming and speaking life into your own life, that is not bragging. That's walking in your faith.
That's right. So Kaz says, do you see yourself becoming a minister for people who went through what you went through?
She like, y'all putting too much on me today.
Me?
That's about you.
She like
You see
ministry.
yourself becoming a minister for people who went through what you went through.
A minister.
Wait. Tamar, minister just means serve.
Yeah.
One who serves.
Well, you know, I do feel like God put me in this position to not be ashamed of my issues. So people, whatever platform that I have, whether it's television, radio, broadcasting, whatever it is, for, you know, people to, I guess, follow my lead in that. So I guess, is that a minister? Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, that's my ministry. Yeah.
That's
I
what
do
you
want to create on all of those platforms, you know, for people to know that whatever they have been through, that it's okay, and it's okay to open up about it, and it's okay to heal because of my past traumas. So yeah, I guess that's the answer.
Girl, you a hoe evangelist.
Yeah.
I was a whole evangelist. I needed a whole, Pastor Kim, I needed a whole to get out.
Whole.
It sounded a little weird. A little weird. I'm just saying. So listen, before we go, because we've got to get out of here, I would love for each of you ladies to just release a word for her, because I feel like that's what chatter, is all about. We can share our heart, we can share our career, we can share our life, but it's also important, and we know that we share inspiration where it's needed. And so, I want to. So Monique, if you could release anything to Tamar, what would it be?
Oh my goodness. Encouragement, faith over fear every single day. You are such a beautiful human being. And this is your opportunity to build from your testimony. Mm-hmm. It really, truly is.
I love it. Jewel?
I just want to say that I just want to tell you, you ministered to me today because of your authenticity and your transparency. And my family has done reality TV. And I have a sister that was really hurting. And she didn't believe for her mentally. And I didn't know she was hurting to the level that she was. And so my family over the last several years have been trying to figure out how do we reach her. So this was my confirmation from God that he got her and that it is well. So I just want to let you know I love you. I'm very proud of you. And thank you so much for being so open, because I think if she could have done this, things would have been a lot different. So thank you. You're amazing. God bless you. And just know that he got you and you're helping a lot of people.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Didi?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That was a lot. Thank you.
You really just messed us all up. I just need to know that.
Yes, Jewel. We love you, Jewel. We love you, girl.
But Tamar, that's the extent of your ministry. That's why I said it's just about serving, and your story serves others. The Bible says that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimonies. And so for you to use your testimony for others to be able to overcome, letting them know that God is no respecter of person, all things being equal, what he has done for you, he'll do for somebody else. And so I encourage you to continue to live out loud, continue to love God, continue to love God's people. And I mean, you're going to see your life be catapulted into a whole new dimension. And let me just say this, don't be afraid to go with God.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, Kim?
Yeah. You know what I love so much, just even listening to the ending of this, is that I keep being reminded that everybody loves to be a diamond, but nobody wants to get cut. You got cut. You got cut. You're priceless. You did it. You lived out loud. You walked through it so gracefully. And you're not even going to know that God is using you to the extent he is. But I just see it in your future, girl, that God is going to be elevating you and moving you in places, and it's not going to be a struggle. And you're not even going to even realize all the capacity that God's doing in your life, because you are going to be living your best life. And you're just going to be doing, this is your purpose. This is your purpose all along, is helping people. And thieves don't rob empty vaults. The enemy's been after you, not because you're weak, but because you're strong. And so I'm excited to watch this new journey. And I'm the president of your fan club.
I'm vice president then.
Right. I love it. I think the last thing that I would just say is always remember that God has not given you the spirit of fear, the power of love and of a sound mind.
Right.
And we thank God for a sound mind. And when you need to take that mind to therapy, go on and take it there.
Right.
And don't be afraid of it. Because God has also created the therapist.
Hey, I told her she need to come on to Maryland because I got a room over here for her.
We're going to go to Maryland. Listen, everybody goes to Dr. Didi's and just, comment.
Oh, that's the most peaceful place.
Exactly. So we love you, Tamar. Thank you for joining us.
We
Thank
do.
you guys
Thank
for
you,
having me. I'm so
Tamar.
grateful. Thank you.
You be well. Take care. God bless.
Bye.
All right, ladies, that is it for us.
Bye.
Have a
Love
good
you all.